Oh, good morning. I didn't see you there. Just wearing my little Wimbledon hat today because I bought a ticket last week to Europe. I'm going to Wimbledon, and then I don't know where I'm going after that, but I'll figure it out. Don't you guys worry. Don't you guys worry. But I'll probably do a lot more longer form content on YouTube because I just can't seem to keep it short and tight on this platform. So, you know what I'm gonna do now? That's right. I'm gonna tell you a story because I'm a storyteller, and that's what storytellers do. So Dr. Joe Dispenza says that reality is determined by a network of collective observers. Now, what does that mean? Of course, we know what a network is. It's, we'll call it a system in which there are individual nodes that function as a collective for communication. Now, implied in this network of collective observers are social agreements. For instance, we all have an agreement about time that says time is linear. We're born, this happens, we die. However, time on the quantum level is not linear. All of time is happening now. Now, if we went further into that quantum sort of reality theory, the observer observes reality into being. So, like, matter and energy are the same thing. They just have a threshold of the speed of light. So, above the speed of light, it's a wave. Below the speed of light, it's a particle. And, you know, so the theory says you can observe reality into existence. I believe it. I've done it all the time. So, now, what is important here is that something that's missing that I don't think is talked about enough is that words are the operating system. Now, what that means is, you know, words are the translation of energy into ideas. And you know, which takes me to what I've been thinking about, which is leadership. Now, what is good leadership? Well, beyond being of service, it's creating and steering a network of collective observers towards a greater vision. And you know, I think you have to, and it's getting people to believe in possibility. And I mean, I try to stay in possibility. You know, it's a much more broad, infinite field than, you know, limitations. And so what I think has been happening in leadership for many decades is we have been systematically led into this vision intentionally of division. I said vision, to division. Division, fear, powerlessness. But it's not true, because the power is actually in the network of collective observers. So, you know, I think in doing that, what we have also been trained to do is to believe the mind and to live out of the mind. And I mean, I think we could go all the way back to, you know, manifest destiny and, you know, coming in and destroying all the, you know, like Native American Indians and all these cultures that were heart-centered and connected to the earth. That's a whole other tangent. But going back to the mind, if you are trained to live in the mind, then you can be controlled much more easily. For instance, we have all these programs such as MK Ultra and, you know, the CIA and all that stuff. So people can be controlled, they can be manipulated, they can be programmed what to do, including carry out bad things, tragedies and all that stuff. But I'm not making this shit up. It's all out there. But, you know, it leads me to, in a very roundabout way, the fact that I would really encourage all of you to check out Bobby Kennedy Jr. for president. And I've had like 2 people say, oh, he doesn't have a chance in hell. And then, you know, but those are 2 people, and I talked to 10 or 15 other people, and they're like, I was totally in the program, and then I listened to him, and this guy's got my vote. All you have to do is hear him speak, and then you will feel it you will feel the resonant truth in your heart. Resonant truth is a truth that you feel at the cellular level. I mean, this is a guy who was called to leadership. He did not want to do this. And it actually reminds me of this guy, MC Mehta, who I volunteered for in India. MC Mehta is probably, I wrote about him in my book. I called him J.D. Singh or something like that. But he's probably one of the world's most important environmental lawyers. And he did not want to do environmental law. But there was this guy that kept showing up at his speeches. And he was like, you know, why aren't you doing anything about the Taj Mahal? And, you know, the acid rain was pitting the marble, and there were abattoirs, which is slaughterhouses all around, that, you know, birds of prey were like dropping dead carcasses on the Taj and everything. So long story short, he was called to service and to be a leader because all these things were not happening. He went on to become the most important environmental lawyer, the grandfather of environmental law in India, and I got to volunteer for him, and just I wrote grants for him, and I just got to trail this incredible guy for like 2 months. So Kennedy was the same way, and he, you know, there was this group of mothers that kept showing up at his lectures, and he was lecturing about the environment and everything, and he wound up, you know, these women basically were like, we believe our children, and they all were like well put together women, but they all had children with developmental challenges, and they were saying, we believe it's because of mercury poisoning. And you know, this is what led him down this whole path to where he is now. He could have had a very good, easy life just suing all of these crooked corporations and everything, but sometimes the times call for a leader. So, you know, I would encourage you to not believe the press. I mean, anybody who does at this point is just a fucking lost cause. Learn about his story. Learn about why, where, and when he got blackballed. And it was because of a Rolling Stone article in which he exposed the fact that vaccines were causing all this harm. I know, it's such a polarizing thing, but I mean, you gotta wake up. The first point of waking up is realizing the intentional polarization. A sick people and a people in fear are very easy to control. So, I don't want to get on this, like, you know, soapbox or anything, but I believe it is so important for this moment in history that we need a new alternative. And, you know, he just did this speech a couple days ago that practically moved me to tears on peace and diplomacy at St. Anselm's College. And it's a new voice. It's a new approach. It was actually what Jack Kennedy was moving towards until he got taken out, because he wanted peace, and the CIA feed this war machine and all this stuff. So anyway, what else? I mean, there's just listen to put him in or listen to the Joe Rogan RFK Jr. podcast that just came out. It's very profound, and it's the first time he's really gotten to speak like this, you know, in such a big public forum and get his side of the story out, because, well, we know what the press does. But gee whizzillikers, would you look at the time? That was a long one. It's the longest one I've done in a while. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Sticking with my jibba jabba. You know why? Because I'm a storyteller. And that's what we do. We jibba jabba. Yabba dabba do. I love you.